Well, I suspect Amy and I will do a top 10 list today. Actually, I apologize. I made a quick video as I was getting to the track this morning, 3 minutes long. And just to explain that we had two scratches today. We had Joe J. Fotag, 102.8 was her temperature. It's fine now. A little butte, they come down, but they certainly can't train. And Pretty Eyes and Lies was a little high also, somewhere around the same amount. And they're both fine now. They ate their lunch. But certainly could not train or jog, quite frankly, this morning. So we only had the two scratches. I was a little torn on how the rest of the day would go. We had a lot of horses that had spiked temperatures throughout the week, that had a couple that had missed the training day on Wednesday. So how would the rest go? I don't know. I wanted to go now the fast pace, the good group of pacers went in 2:19. They'd been in 23, 24, 25 a number of times. It was funny. I spoke to a client, I might have said this to you, a couple of weeks ago, and he had timed them after the first quarter. So the quarter until the quarter pole after, because you guys know I let them rock right through the turn into the backstretch. So as though I say 2:19, that last quarter was probably much quicker. So it might have been a faster mile than that, actually. But nevertheless, I don't really care about that stuff. All I care about is that all the horses felt good. There was none that were kind of had their tongues dragging. The only horse that felt a little tired today, and she coughed once when we got back to the burn, was Megan's Lucky Day. Not that shocking. She didn't have the same pop that she usually did. But what I did like about her was she had enough focus to actually relax. And I could tell that she really didn't want to fight. She didn't really want to get at them today. But the fact that she did her work properly, well, meant a lot to me. That she's actually paying attention, understanding. You just can't go and roll off stride. You can't go roll off and run and run and run. She went out and did her work the best she could, and then ran down Degas going into the turn after the mile, went by her and trotted out and finished out her mile. I wanted to get if you watch closely in the video, I wanted to get the attention of Steve upstairs videoing them and say, hey, when we get two other horses, Royal Flush Dio had the strap had broke on his hobbles, so it must have been the stitching let go on his hobbles as we were getting ready to go, and he went back to the barn. He came back with another set of hobbles on. Well, all hobbles, a lot of them are different. The ones he had on were like zinging tight. I said to Tyler, I said, hey man, you can't. Those are too tight for that horse. So I always switch the hobbles, and I've been doing it a long time, but it's not always that easy. Tyler tried to switch them, and the hobbles undid, and he had to stop. So we're already late. I did bring Ollie to baseball practice. That's where I'm coming from right now. So I said, you know what? Just fix the hobbles and you can go by yourself. So I roar to Steve as we go by the first time, and then I see Jason make a break with AC/DC. So I said to Jason, just hook on to Tyler over there and you guys go a mile in 2:30. So after the mile, if you watch, I'm signaling to the cameraman to get those guys up there, and he figured it out. Good on Steve. He figured it out, and he went and got them right away, and you guys have to watch AC/DC and Royal Flush Dio train. Now, hobbles were still tight. I don't even know if he needs hobbles, Royal Flush Dio. He's much better since we castrated him. That 2 weeks also. Maybe his stifles were more than a little bit weak. Maybe they were a little bit immature also and bothering him a little bit. He didn't knuckle over today. Now we did take and change his shoes. I went to a full swedge, from a full swedge just to a half run, half swedge behind on him. Did that play a role? Geez, it would be hard to convince me that is what changed him from knuckling over, but nevertheless, there was no talk of him knuckling over from Tyler today. So there were two scratches, and then you saw the two horses that went by themselves afterwards, AC/DC and Royal Flush Dio. Now, today, the training was good. Nobody went crazy fast. Everybody minded their manners. Everybody did their work. We had a couple of breakers, but when we have horses like Emerald Tom, who never breaks, yeah, I know he broke 2 weeks ago, but this horse, he's usually 1, 2, 3, 4. And John said today, he just got doubled up, and he could throw in his head a little bit, and he rolled off stride. I said, okay, so put a martingale on him. And what happens is, the guys will get close to the horse in front of them, and then they'll grab the horses. Well, I don't want them doing that. I want our horses to roll up onto the helmet of the horse in front of them. Just sit, relax. Don't grab the bit. Don't fight. Just settle. And that's hard too, right? Because nobody wants to put their horses on the run. Johnny doesn't want to have his horses run. Tyler doesn't. No one does. It happens. They're babies. They're learning. But you need to let them do their work. And I think it was just Emerald Tom. He probably was throwing his head. As he grabbed a hold of him, he was throwing his head a little bit and made a break. Either way, not the end of the world. He'll be fine. He's been fine. He's sound and continues to be fine. Today was just one of those days. Love Sensation was good. She acted up starting our first lap, just our slow lap. And then after that, she was perfectly fine. In the mile, she was great. Supermind made a rare break coming out of the last turn. I asked Jason, I said, did you just get him doubled up or what happened there? He goes, no, I don't think so. He said, I can't really tell you why you run there. He said, maybe the track was a little choppy for the first set down along the rail. It was. But it was choppy for everyone. So Supermind rolled off stride, which he hasn't done in quite a while. Otherwise, Jason said he was great. He's a Fearless Peter, finished up with us. He was good also. Aunt Sarah was great. Jailbird Jog made that break. That's where she makes a break. And unfortunately, a couple of times we switched the drivers on her. And Tyler's driven her before, though. When you start into the backstretch, you have to protect her as she switches her leads. She'll touch herself and make a break. Now, it's not lost on me that she's a New Jersey bred. I think she might. I don't know if she's Kentucky and New Jersey or not. I said this last time. It's not a big deal. I can look into it. But what you can't do with this filly is let her accelerate coming out of the turn. She's more apt to make a little break there. And again, if we're sending horses across over to Ontario to finish off their last month and a half or so, Jailbird Jog could easily be one of those horses also. But for right now, you just have to know the horse, right? She's starting in the backstretch. That's where she's vulnerable. First 4 or 5 pylons into the backstretch, just beware, be careful, keep her bottled up, and then let her do her work. So it's just a matter of knowing the filly a little bit better and understanding what you can and can't do with her at this time frame. Rose Run Bobby was awesome. And I told Amy she's getting better. No snake cord, no chain, no nothing on her. She's learned her lesson. She's learning to behave. It's funny, we have the open bridle on her, and as she goes to get a little wild, it's the weirdest thing. You can almost see her just kind of look back at you. What am I going to do here? And if you just talk to her, you just seesaw her a little bit, and she'll come right back to you. And then when I moved her, she slowly and methodically kind of ground up alongside the leader. And then coming out of the last turn, I gave her a head, and she was gone. That was probably Rose Run Bobby's best training trip of her life was today. I was thoroughly impressed with what I saw, and quite frankly, everybody in that set. Jailbird Jug, you can't do that. You just have to know that. Emerald Tom rarely makes a break, and again, if he was throwing his head, fine, put a martingale on him, but again, let the horse coast up on a helmet. Don't start fighting with him in a hole. That's where you get yourself in trouble. And Supermind, I think it's a rinse and repeat. I'm not really that worried about it. Don't really know why he did it. I haven't gone with him in a while, but I know Jason said he felt fine before he did it. He felt fine after. I don't know whether he just touched himself or what he did, or just getting the deeper stuff down there, but it was weird. He felt fine up until that point. So, again, not going to worry too much about that. So set 1, everything that happened was 1, impressive, and 2, if it wasn't, it was explainable, and that is the best we can do on training days now, isn't it? Now, set number 2, we had Cherry's Girl, Joe J was scratched, Zena Kemp, Steph's Hope. I told you all she needed was hobbles. Steph's Hope, Had to Know, Royal Duchess, Judy's Money. I will say this, Had to Know did lose a shoe, and he did lose it right where he made a break. I went and got the shoe afterwards. I didn't know whose it was, and I said, come off the track, I'm trying to think of who wears an egg bar behind Come in the Barn. I said, any chance Had to Know is missing a shoe? She said, yeah, I just said he's missing a shoe. I said, okay, all right, no problem. So I'll give him that. That's where he made the break, is exactly where the shoe was found. So I'll give him that. Judy's Money was great, held on and won the set. Again, we went 228. First set, we went 225 right on. Second set, 228. Royal Duchess was great again, just quietly gets her work done. I love that. I love when horses do that. And she's one of those horses, just goes out and gets it done. Always have time for those types of horses. So Steph's Hope was good. You know what she reminds me of is a filly. We used to have a pretty good filly named Sweet on Pete. Knees do bother her. They are a problem. They do bother her. We've been more than able to manage them as of now. I'm eager to see how she looks tomorrow and again on Monday. I might even come in if the weather's nice. I don't think it's supposed to be, though. Come in and just jog her a little bit on Sunday. I want to see how she is on her knees, because she jogs out of it and she moves forward, but I want to keep I told everybody, please be on the lookout for any abnormalities with these horses. If you usually go with them and they don't feel the same, I need to know today. Well, I can tell you, I don't often go with Steph's Hope, but I can tell you that her knees bother her. But all business today, I was really impressed with what I saw from her. And as I said, this is the exact same. Sweet on Pete was the exact same this time of year. It was always a chore. Work on her knees, work on her knees, work on her knees, work on her knees. And she got better. We started her out easy, raced her in the Buckeye when she was actually good enough to be in the Stallions or the Sire Stakes. And I think she went on a 3 or 4 race win streak right away. And I can see this filly being, I'm not predicting she'll win 4 races in a row, but she is the exact same right away. When I was going with her, pulling up, and I think it was Jason, I'm not sure, said, much better like that. And I said, way better. I said, this filly reminds me of Pete. And eager to see how she continues to train down. Zena Kemp was good. As Amy said, she got a little rolly in one turn, so I left her alone. I said, Amy, you did the right thing. I don't want to be explaining why you made a break today. You did the right thing, keeping her together. And now that you know her, she goes, I let her trot into the turn after, and she put one step in and then just drove away. She goes, so maybe I should have pushed her. I said, no, you did the right thing. But now that you know her, you can push her next time. So Zena Kemp was good also. Again, Cherry's Girl followed them. I wish Eric had worked her a little bit. I trained her pretty hard middle of the week last week, I think, and she trained very, very, very good. Now she was coming off that quarter crack that was bleeding, did not bleed today. Everything looks like it's moving forward, but I wish he'd have worked her a little harder, but not the end of the world. Lots of time. We're not even to April officially yet. Third set, Pretty Eyes and Lies was scratched. Capistrano Knights, Jolene Hall, Neuromancer, Leland Hanover. I had to fix a shoe on Leland Hanover this morning. He was a little rickety in the mile, but I think he's due to have those flip-flops off, and they're coming off him very soon. Don't Ask Again made a break. When pushing it, she's another one needs the flip-flops off. I don't know whether she's slipping a bit, but as she gets into her progression into third gear, theoretically, fourth gear, into fifth gear, she does shudder a little bit throughout that transition, and I think she's just touching herself. So Don't Ask Again and Leland Hanover will both get those flip-flops off them soon. Uncle Danny up with the hobbles on him. I trained him a quarter of a mile yesterday with them on just to see how he felt, and I knew he was going to be very, very good today. He is a really nice colt, and with the hobbles on, he's just a powerhouse. I had the hobbles too tight on Neuromancer, but again, I don't want to make it a break, right? I can tell you about how he made a little skip on Wednesday, but when you're watching him with your eyes, if it comes to having them just a hair too tight or just a hair too loose, I'm going to err on the side of caution. I did have them a little tight on Neuromancer today, but again, finished up his mile great. We won a mile in 2:23 in there, and those horses were all good. Capistrano Nates made a break going under the wire, but again, you just can't ask her to advance quickly. You can let her grind up into fifth gear and keep going, keep the bit in her mouth, but if you give her a head and snap her the tail, you're not going to like what happens, and that's happened a number of times training down. Again, you just have to know this filly. I'm certainly not worried about Capistrano Knights. I've seen this movie before last year, almost a carbon copy. And the filly that I'm talking about, you guys know I've said this a number of times, was Gorgeous Package, and a lot of similarities between these two fillies. So I was happy again. Great set. Capistrano Knights he said she got a little rough at the wire. Nah, she made a break at the wire. I watched the replay. Made a little break at the wire. Jolene Hall was good. Again, trotting well. Jason was happy with her. Neuromancer was great. Leland Hanover was great. Don't Ask Again was good once he got her up into fifth gear. We got to work on those transitions a little bit. And Uncle Danny was very, very good. Lights out good. Fourth set, Tomboy Strong just continues to get better and better and better. Very, very strong today. I was thoroughly happy with My Name Sweeney also weaving through at the wire. I might actually tick Go Strong Hanover a bit when I come through late. And he never even put a step in. The horse is just, it's hard to explain how good Go Strong Hanover is, and how, he had a temperature once or twice last week also. So again, probably not at his very, very best today. And the horse just continues to look good and get better and be strong. He's just a very, very nice horse, and did his work well today in defeat. But again, as I say it all the time, he is easily one of our best horses. Tomboy Strong was great. Blue Rare, I said to Eric, was she okay, a little flat? He said, she coughed a little bit coming on the track. He said, but honestly, we were just rolling right along, and I didn't want to I didn't run out and just drop the hammer. And I said, no, I'm glad you didn't do that because I know how fast she is, and I don't need to start her up if she isn't at 100% on any given day. Rico Tubbs was good. Amy was just getting to know him. She goes, I like him left line a little bit. She goes, I could have pushed him a little more in the turns. I was just a little safe, and you guys are really starting to move, and I just left him alone, let him do his work. I said, again, you did the right thing. But the odd thing today, Steady Volo made a break. Looked a little rough to me in the corners also. So this is the time of year. I need to see these things, and they need to be followed up on. Why is he a little rough in the corners? I'm going to guess it's his knees, but I'm not going to take anything for granted, so we're going to have Dr. Latessa look at him on Monday. When I say it's their knees, I'm not telling you that, oh my God, it's their knees got a line in it, they're going to need time. No, not at all, but they do need to be managed. There's a couple of horses that we blistered their knees and gave them a couple of weeks off. We're going to push forward again with them. That's what I mean when I say that, their knees are bothering her. We don't have any lameness to speak of with the babies. And a little bit here and there, might have a quarter crack that we've dealt with, might have some stuff that's bothering them, but nothing splinters, curb, something like that, but nothing serious. No acute soreness in the burn right now, and I want to keep it that way. So when I say I need to know, that's why I need to know. Fifth set, they were smoking today. Perfect Thought, the last 2 or 3 weeks she's trained, she kind of been in a little bit of a funk, a little lull. And I wanted to get to the bottom of that. Why is she like that? Coming off the virus a little bit. A couple of times last week, she picked at her food where she should have just, inhaled it. So I wanted to get a look under the hood myself, but I also wanted to drop the hammer on her a little bit. If she is in a little bit of a funk, it's time to wake up. And today I wanted to have, as I said, 1, a little look under the hood, and 2, if she feels good, well, I'm going to stretch the big girl out a little bit, and I certainly did. 219 and 2 big moves. Big move coming to the half, and then again to finish up her mile. She was awesome today. Everybody in that set. Perfection Hanover lagged a little bit finishing up. Jason said, I was going to turn him out, to be honest, give him a little time. And Jason said, no. He said he was just he felt a little sharp in the post parade. But Anthony, he said, you guys were flying up front, finishing up your mile. He's getting there. Just, I wouldn't screw around with him just yet. I was glad to hear that. I said, okay, no problem. Millie Girl, Highest Honors, Sweet Lake, we're all right there. Diosa Della Danza kind of backed off a little bit. She mauled everybody the last 2 weeks. But it's funny how everything, the leaderboard kind of changes sometimes. And it did today. I don't think she was bad. But she needed... she wasn't as razor sharp as she's been with the virus going through the barn. I'd be remiss if I didn't say might be a little something going on with her the last couple of days. Finished out the sets. Degas was good. I won a mile in 2:28, didn't I, Megan? Yeah, 2:28. So you must have won a mile in 2:27. He started somewhere the same where I did. Degas was good. Did her work great. Very happy with her again. Megan's lucky day was under the weather. I could tell she was, but I like the fact that she did her work properly. It's very important, for them not to come unglued. Captain Doolittle looked way better today. Really happy with him. New York. He's going to have his good days and his bad days. He's had a couple of weeks of bad days. We changed his shoes today. I'm going to continue to work on him. See if we can't get the little guy squared away and going forward. He wants to do it. I can tell you that. His work ethic is on point. Just need to help him out a little bit. And then the 2 horses that made breaks. Royal Flush Dio broke his hobbles. And ACDC made a break. We went with them after. Mile in 2:30, last half in 10. Pretty even, even mile. And both were very good. So that's an update for the babies this morning. Everybody went well. There was no concerns, no issues, no nothing. I was happy. But I am going to do a top 10 list. Amy and I will be a little dueling top 10 lists this weekend. I think we will. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.